Greetings from Hey Foodie to one and all present here today. I, Dedipya, welcome you all to Healthy Chat with Hey Foodie. And today we have Mrs. Sunita Srivastava joining us on her very own Healthy Chat show. So, ma'am is currently working in the capacity of a founder principal for an ICSC school, Bangalore. She is armed with MA English, a B.Ed, a diploma in education management and administration from TESOL, and comes with an experience of more than 2 decades in the education sector. She has won prizes for innovative teaching presentations and was also the guest editor for the Times of India Students Edition. She is a competent wellness coach as well. Mrs. Sunita Srivastava holds different leadership positions as an HOD, coordinator, and principal, and strongly believes that if the students are given exposure in the right direction, their ability to think in a novel way would increase. We are very honored to have you on our show, ma'am.
Oh, thank you very much, Vidya. It's a very warm welcome and thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. So now over to our host for today, Sanjana.
Good evening, everybody. Ma'am, am I audible and visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. This is Sanjana from Hey Foodie, and I extend a very warm welcome to each and every one of you for our today's Healthy Chat Show. Ma'am, before we start the chat show, let me brief you about what we do at Hey Foodie. We are a platform that serves homemade food to students of multiple schools and to various others through a subscription service. We provide a medium through which people can inculcate healthy eating habits in their day-to-day life and hence be made aware of its importance. The food being served by us is healthy, homemade, hygienic, fresh, and will definitely remind you of maa ke haath ka khana. So I'd like to resume the session with you, ma'am. Let me begin with my first question.
Thank
Ma'am,
you. Thank you
living
so
a
much.
healthy life, yes, ma'am, and thank you for your patient wait.
It's my pleasure.
Uh, so, ma'am, beginning the questions. Living a healthy lifestyle is turning out to be a big challenge, ma'am. And why is it so? And what are your views about it?
Yeah, first of all, my warmest greetings to all the viewers and Hey Foodie for having me here. And next, I'll move on to your question. Yeah, the thing is, most of them they're not aware what is nutrition, what is healthy diet, and how it has to be taken, at what regular interval it has to be taken, and what are the components involved in that. So that is the main thing. What I feel that lack of awareness leads to such complications. And today we are all aware immunity is very, very essential to be very immune strong. There are various factors. Now let's understand why the immune system becomes weak. It's because of various factors like age, low nutrition diet, or vitamin and mineral deficiency, or if the person is under long medication, he's taking a lot of antibiotics, then it leads to low immune system and chronic diseases along with stress. So what are the signs of low immune system? Frequently falling ill, or low platelet counts, and if somebody is having cough, fever frequently, then these are the signs that the person is having low immune.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. Coming back to the immune system, what are the four pillars? Or we need to constantly learn, unlearn, relearn, and keep on inventing new things. Change high. So until we do some creative things in our teaching methodology, we will be very redundant. So to avoid that, we need to upgrade ourselves and use innovative method in our teaching. and
Sure.
teachers must use technology.
So we were talking about how we can give equal opportunity for people who don't have the resources.
Yeah, should I begin from from the
Yes, ma'am,
start?
if we can,
Yeah.
please.
Okay, sure, sure. Yeah. I was talking about the underprivileged are in the ambit of this NEP document. And the new document says that the 3-year-old will also be included in the education framework. Earlier, it was from 6 years to 14 years. Now it will be from 3 years to 18 years, which is really a good initiative by the government. But my my question is how this will be implemented. Who are the people who will be taking initiative to implement it? Government has framed a wonderful document. It is worth praising, but implementation, when it comes to implementation, it is very challenging. And for the government to look into all the aspects, it's very difficult. So it's the onus is on the stakeholders. It is not only with the educators, it is also with the parents. And if suppose if some child is not going to school, it is also the responsibility of the neighbors to see to that the child goes to the school. So it is a collective effort that even the underprivileged will go to the school. I'm very optimistic that things will change for the better with this new documentation. Apart from that, many other eminent personalities are doing wonderful job. For example, I would like to talk about Mrs. Shukla Bose. She is the founder of Parikrama Education. She is in Bangalore. She has 4 schools only for the underprivileged. She picks up the students from the slum areas and she gives them the education. And after 10 to 15 years now, the students have equipped with perfect education and they're all placed. And when they come out with flying colors, definitely it's a fulfilling and satisfaction for the educator. And many more people will come forward doing these kinds of activities, I do believe in.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Ma'am, and many more have become common diseases, and people are suffering that too from a very young age. Ma'am, what do you think? How they should change their lifestyle, their eating habits, or the reason behind it?
Yeah, I was telling about the 4 pillars of healthy lifestyle. That is exercise, positive attitude, rest, and nutrition. If I have to talk about more on nutrition, since I'm a wellness expert also, so I would like to give little bit insight about the kinds of diseases occurs and how it occurs and why it occurs. Okay, so let me take you to the point what you had asked. The diseases are mainly two types. One is from birth and the other one is acquired. So if it is from birth, we cannot do much. But if it is acquired, it is due to several conditions. One is allergy, and the other one is communicable diseases, and the other one is non-communicable diseases. When we talk about non-communicable diseases, it is diabetes, heart attack, BP, cholesterol, stroke, cancer, and aging factor. So these acquired one, it is because of our wrong lifestyle. We have cultivated a wrong lifestyle for a long duration. Because of that, we develop such diseases. It's not that it cannot be controlled or cured. Only thing is we need to identify we have acquired this, and we have to accept that we have acquired this, and the right steps to be taken to change our lifestyle and our eating habits. So I was talking about the macronutrients and micronutrients, and if we talk about macronutrients, the first one is uh, protein. So what is protein? Pro means first, Protein means substance. That means first substance in our diet is protein. Most of us, especially our Indian diet, lacks protein. We give more importance to carbohydrates, which is fulfilling. The moment we take rice or bread, it's very fulfilling, and afterwards we don't give room to protein, and we don't understand the necessity of protein also. But this is very vital. I'll in the coming few this thing I will tell you what is it and from where we can acquire these protein content. The first thing is whey protein. From here we can get 104 gram of protein in half scoop. Basically, there are two types of proteins. One is A class and the other one is B class. A class, it is the functions of A class protein is it is responsible for the growth and repair, immunity, and the production of hemoglobin. B class is responsible mainly for multiple minor functions. So I'll talk about A class first. We get it from whey protein, eggs, milk, paneer, and soya. And if I have to talk about B class protein, we get it from sprouts, dal, and nuts. The variants are from whey protein, we get 100 gram, 100 gram of protein, and in eggs 100, milk 91, and in paneer 88, and in soya 81. Sprouts it is 45, and dal it is 35, and nuts 25 we get. Out of 50 grams we get that much. Soya is very vital. Most of the time we don't consider soya as one of the important proteins. We neglect it, but it is much better than milk and egg and dal and non-vegetarian food also. If I have to talk about the protein content, soya has 40%, chicken, mutton and fish has 15%, dal and pulses 12 to 14%, and egg 6%, and milk only 3%. But most of the mother are behind feeding milk to their children, but they have to concentrate on soya more. And if we have to talk about protein more, if the body weight of the child is 10 kg, the child has to take 15 grams of protein. And to take this, 11 eggs in a day, 50 bananas in a day, and 25 potatoes in a day, 8 glass of milk, or 8 cups of curd. Instead of taking like this, we can take from each component and make it a balanced meal. So that's the reason every day these things have to be included in our diet. So what are the other sources of veg protein? It is spinach and broccoli, cauliflower, mushrooms and parsley, cucumbers, green pepper, cabbage, tomatoes, beef, and chicken and eggs are also having protein. And coming to the protein, why it is necessary to take every day? The reason is it has 9 essential amino acids which our body does not prepare. So we have to take it from outside. There are 23 amino acids. Rest of it is produced by our body, but 9 of it is not produced by our body. It has to be taken from outside. And moreover, the protein is not stored in our body. It has to be taken every day. So it is very vital in your diet, the protein intake is there. Now coming to the next part, what kind of vegetables and fruits to be taken? WHO has recommended 5 colors in our diet, that is white, yellow or orange, red, green, blue or purple. All these 5 colors should be included every day for a healthy living. So white is responsible for bones, and yellow for heart, and other things are also having different organs. It has effect on different organs. And coming to vitamins and minerals, though it is micro nutrients, it is very, very essential for our body. Our body needs 13 minerals and 11 minerals, 13 vitamins and 11 minerals. Sorry for that. And it should be taken on daily basis. So to have vitamins and minerals, we need to take pumpkin, pomegranate, and curd, and other 13 nutrients are there. We need to take it. So coming to the vitamin C, why it is essential and why it has got so much of importance in this condition. The reason is it enhances the antibodies, that is white blood cells, and it also produces B cells and T cells. T cells are called fighter cells. That means it comes forward whenever your body is sick. T cells are the ones who come forward and rescue our body. So vitamin C is very, very essential for that reason. We need to have vitamin D for the antiviral protection. And we need to take vitamin E because it enhances T cells again and improves the immunity in aged person. Selenium, it is again important for antiviral reasons, and zinc, which is natural antibiotic. That's the reason we need to take a lot of zinc in our food. Vitamin A is responsible for the production of white blood cells. So there are many more things. I think time doesn't permit me to talk much about it. So if you have any other questions, I'm ready to answer. I love to answer that.
Ma'am, so how important is it to maintain a good relationship with family and friends and to spend a good quality time with them in order to have a good health? Because I know especially the youngsters, they are very connected to technology. In fact, technology is important, but every parent's complaint is that technology is creating a distance between their relationship. So what is your take on that, ma'am?
I think even the nature has understood this. So the nature has created this pandemic situation so that we are forced to live with a family. And once we are forced to live with a family, automatically that bond is developed. So bonding, I feel it is one of the essential factors for a healthy living. Unless and until you have that bond, your mind is not happy. As I said, dopamine is created in our one of the chemicals is released in our mind. It is because when we are happy, that happiness comes right from the people who are very close to us. Stop eating it, and aerated drinks, it is not at all good. At my home, we don't prefer junk food and even aerated drinks. Yeah, it's wonderful. Earlier, I never understood the importance of protein in my life. I never paid attention to protein, even though my son used to frequently ask me for the protein-rich diet. I was thinking that I'm preparing dal, then that is providing a lot of protein. And even we are preparing paneer, that gives a lot of protein. But it's not only having dal and protein, we need to understand how much amount these things are having. And that's the reason we now follow the protein rich diet. And it is only because of this wellness coaching what I have undertaken. Because of that, I have understood the importance of macronutrients and micronutrients, and the same thing I'm following it. It's before preaching, I'm practicing it.
Okay, ma'am. Uh, Ma'am, so how do you balance a well balanced diet, ma'am? Do you prepare a diet chart for every meal as a weekly routine?
Yeah, usually I follow certain method. On this day, this has to be cooked, and in a week, so much amount of these things to be done included. In a week, this essential thing should be there. No matter what it is, these things should be there. Since I'm a pure vegetarian, I prefer soya-rich food along with paneer and the broccoli and other things I include in my diet, and it's very essential. And also I follow the practice of including 5 colors, though it is not possible every day, but most of the time I prefer to use that combinations of colors.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, so now procrastination as in the delaying of the process or slagging of the work has become a major problem among people and especially youngsters, ma'am. So what is your take on it and how should people overcome their temptations?
So it is common phenomenal. It's not only with youngsters. Even I used to do a long back. I had this habit of delaying the things, and one day I realized this is hampering my work ethics. So the realization usually comes through various sources, and you never know to whom, through which source it will come. Maybe through books, or maybe by watching somebody, or the internal motivations are two types. One is extrinsic and the other one is intrinsic. So extrinsic acts only for few days. It won't last for a long time. But if it is intrinsic, definitely it is for lifetime. So when you are motivating somebody, see to that the person is intrinsically motivated. In the beginning, it may be extrinsic, but it should be intrinsic. Unless and until I get an inspiration, I get motivated by myself, nobody can change me. The talks and all, it will be there for few days, but it will be vanished. It should come within. So for that, I feel that when a child is having the habit of reading, it will definitely help. One of the aspects what I inculcated in our school is reading habit. In our timetable also, Monday first period is reading time, not maths or science. Usually in our timetable, it is maths or science. It is given preference because it is core subject. But in our school, the first period, Monday first period is for reading. All the students sit together and read for the whole period. So that habit, if it is formed, definitely somewhere from somewhere or the other, the children will definitely pick it up. And the motivation, that intrinsic motivation, should happen at school level. Of course, parents are responsible for that, but we being educators, when we have taken the onus on us for developing overall personality of the child, it is our responsibility to see to that the child learns all these habits at school itself.
Absolutely, ma'am. The reading session was a very refreshing part.
Yeah.
Ma'am, in passing years, westernization have had a great impact on people and on their lifestyle, eating habits as well. So what is your views on it, ma'am?
Yes, we are all somehow attracted to the Western culture. And when you talk about Western people, they are influenced by our culture, our food, and our way of living. You can see that many Westerners, they have taken India's way of living. They are practicing yoga, and the kind of food we eat, they are practicing. I have seen one person who has learned so many Indian languages, and I felt that what I'm doing, being an Indian, I haven't learned so many languages, and being a foreigner, he has learned so many things. So it's a matter of we need to probe on this and we need to think deeply what we are doing with our rich heritage and culture. India has rich, vibrant culture. Why can't we propagate? Why can't we embrace it fully instead of other people telling us, see, your culture is very good, try to adopt your culture. Instead of somebody instructing us, why can't we embrace that and adopt it? I'm an ardent follower of Indian culture. I love my Indian heritage and culture. That doesn't mean that I don't respect any other culture. I have equal respect. From wherever I get good things, positive things, I immediately pick up. When we speak about Japanese culture, it's wonderful. A lot of things are there to learn from them. When we talk about work habits from US, we need to adopt it. So different countries have different things. Why can't we take positive things and make our Indian culture more rich, keeping our own culture intact?
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, what was your major inspiration or passion for your career, ma'am, to become a teacher, to preach?
To be very frank, I never intend to become a teacher. I was in advertising agency in the beginning of my career. I was very happy in that um, multinational culture. But I went to North India and I settled down there. There at that time there was no option other than teaching. I couldn't sit at home, so reluctantly I took up teaching profession just because I cannot sit at home. And you believe it or not, within 2 months I understood that this was my calling. The reason is the children, the bonding what I saw in children was amazing. And even now the children whom I taught in grade 1, they are connected to me. And there is one student, even for starting his IIT coaching center, he asked my suggestion and moved forward. That is very enriching experience, and that is what I cherish. And I'm really thankful that God gave me that direction, and I move forward. And each day I learn something from each and everyone from the education fraternity. There are so many things every day. It's a new learning. Only thing is you should be open to learning. First, before learning, you should be ready to accept that you are ready for unlearning. We need to do a lot of unlearning before learning. That is what we don't do.
Absolutely, ma'am. Ma'am, since a teacher plays a vital role and a teacher will always stay connected to their students, as a teacher, how to help students discover their passion, ma'am?
Again, I would say that if the bonding is strong between the teacher and student, the child will be able to open up and tell what he thinks about life. And that is how the teacher can direct him to discover his own passion. And definitely a lot of personalities to be called in the school to make them understand it is not medical and engineering. There are so many things. Maybe the child is very good at playing some instruments, and we should encourage that. And it is the eyes of teacher who recognizes. It is teacher's constant watching on the student. One day or the other she will recognize that, and she has to do a lot of counseling. After recognizing, she has to do a lot of counseling. In fact, we maintain anecdotal record in our school, and we do record the day-to-day observation of the child, in what aspects the positive things are seen in the child, and if any challenges are found, even that we note down, and afterwards we take measures for that. And this has really benefited us, and that is how we give importance to all the children, no matter they are able to perform or something or not, whether it is poetry competition or some skit. Maybe some of the children are not able to perform properly, but if we select only the cream students, those students will never get a chance to exhibit their talent. So it is in our hand to give platform to all the children, and in the course of this we will recognize some of the other talent in each child, so that we need to carefully nourish. The child is with us almost for 10 years, so that's a long duration. The parents have given the children with lot of faith, so that when the child leave alma mater, we have to see to that the child is totally complete transformed personality. It is in our hands, in the educator's hands, and I'm really blessed to be a part of this education space.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, now we've reached the end of the session, ma'am. I just have one last question for you. Ma'am, what is that one thing you would strongly suggest for people who are following you? And what is that one word that sums up you and your vision?
Yeah, very difficult. I can say that I put my heart and soul in whatever I do. If I have taken up something, I want to see to that it reaches its final destination. Unless and until it reaches that point, I'm not happy. So I think this is called passion. When you have taken up something and see to that, you see the end in the beginning. There is a famous book written by Stephen Covey. He, in the second chapter, he mentions that begin with the end in mind. Before you reach that destination, you visualize that end and plan accordingly. So I visualize that end goal and then I plan accordingly. And I have the full confidence that when I've started, I will definitely go to that end point. No matter, it may take a little bit time also, but it will be accomplished. That is what passion is all about. And I am very passionate, and it's not in the word, but it's a full of energy feeling what my teachers have taken from me. And I'm very happy that I have taken the role of principal. The reason is I can make a difference in teachers' life. This is a position not about boasting yourself or praising yourself, but to uplift the people who are ready for that leadership role. When you just empower them, that satisfaction is much more than our own achievement. So I believe in that. If I have to talk about one word about myself, I believe in empowerment.
Absolutely, ma'am. Ma'am, thank you for this wonderful, motivating, and very informative session, ma'am. And thank you for bearing with all the technical issues. Ma'am,
Okay.
I would like to extend my gratitude and very warm regards to you for gracing us with your presence in our chat show today. We at
Thank
Hey
you.
Foodie have our own little way to thank you and show to love all our guests. On your screen, we will be presenting you a certificate of participation, ma'am. Please accept it on the behalf of the entire Hey Foodie family as a token of love.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure for me to share whatever knowledge, little knowledge I have amongst all of you. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm truly blessed to be a part of this chat show. The reason is whatever ideas, little bit I have, I could share amongst all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for you also. It was wonderful interacting with you.
Thank you, ma'am. It was more than overwhelming to talk to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.